Have you ever stopped to think that what we call up and down might not even exist outside of Earth? It sounds almost absurd, but in space there's no north, no south, just different points of view competing to be right. And what if the reality you believe to be solid is nothing more than a convention we invented to keep ourselves from losing our minds? That's the paradox. We live as if we truly understand the universe, when in fact, we barely know where it even begins. It's like trusting a map without realizing the paper is folded, hiding half of the landscape. The controversy is tough. Most people think the solar system is just a bunch of planets orbiting the sun. But what no one told you is that we're immersed in invisible layers, bubbles, clouds, and massive structures. Some protect us, others threaten us, and all of them silently shape the life we know. The counterintuitive part, realizing that the space around us is more dynamic than the very ground beneath our feet. And the reward is immediate. Once you open this door, you'll see a completely new solar system. Get ready, because what lies above and below us will challenge everything you thought was unchangeable. In space, the idea of up and down collapses like a house of cards without a table. Picture two astronauts floating in opposite directions, each insisting the other is upside down. Neither of them is wrong, because there's no floor or ceiling to settle the argument. Orientation comes from perspective, not from a universal law pointing an arrow upward. It's like turning a map. The city doesn't change, only the north you choose does. Here on Earth, gravity sets the stage and makes the obvious seem natural. Out there, the stage disappears, and the trick is revealed. Everything is relative to the observer. Even a mug floating in the cabin can be someone's floor and another person's ceiling. This shock of perception is liberating because it dismantles lazy certainties. When we change our frame of reference, we change the problem we thought we had. And that opens the door to seeing the larger structures around us that we almost never notice. Remember the first time you flipped upside down in a swimming pool? For a moment, the horizon vanished and your inner compass spun out of control. That feeling is the homegrown version of what astronauts describe when they lose visual anchors. With no ground to compare, the brain negotiates with new clues and builds a new sense of north. It's like reading a book upside down. The text is the same, but your mind takes a few seconds to re-anchor. In space, this re-anchoring never stops. It becomes a skill, almost a kind of onboard etiquette. You learn to ask relative to what before saying up or down. Applied to life, this trains cognitive humility and saves us from needless arguments. Even family disputes shift when the question becomes, what's each person's frame of reference? The same goes for technical problems. Engineers redefine axes before aligning parts. And this small shift prepares the mind to grasp the next layer of the picture. If up and down are conventions, then our cosmic neighborhood takes on a new texture. Around the sun, there's no ceiling, only matter scattered in every direction. Think of a globe filled with shards of ancient ice, leftovers from the solar system's childhood. They're not above or below, they orbit, they linger, waiting for gravitational nudges. This vast region is like marbles forgotten under every piece of furniture in the house. You think you've cleaned everything, but there are always a few left in the cracks, silent and cold. It's the kind of scene you only grasp once you replace the flat map with a sphere. Your perception shifts, and with it the question changes, where does our boundary truly begin? Perhaps both protection and danger come from this same invisible envelope surrounding us. And when it stirs, icy messengers can break the silence and pay us a visit. But before we talk about these visitors, it's worth exploring the very bubble where they rest. The Oort cloud is an invisible cosmic bubble that surrounds the solar system like a cocoon. Picture trillions of icy blocks, silent guardians from the dawn of our neighborhood. They're so far away they feel like legend, yet they remain in orbit, patiently waiting. It's the attic of the cosmos, where boxes are stored and never opened, though we always promise to. Each fragment carries the chemical signature of the sun's and planet's childhood. It's not a neat disk, it's a diffuse sphere, scattered in every direction. Here, up and down don't exist, only distance and gravity whispering secrets. To an observer, it's like looking down on the whole neighborhood. You see the layout, not the details. To a scientist, it's a frozen archive holding clues from billions of years ago. To us, it's a humble reminder that we barely know our own backyard. And still, from these distant reaches, something sometimes stirs and crosses the darkened room. Imagine a box of marbles that's spilled, rolling into every corner. You gather most of them, but some vanish under the sofa for years. That's how the Oort cloud works, ancient pieces, scattered, not lost, but stored away. They weren't forgotten. They were parked on the outskirts by gravitational nudges. Jupiter, Saturn, and their giant siblings played goalkeeper in this great scattering. When the balance is disturbed, one marble comes flying back toward the center. A comet is born. It carries primitive dust, volatiles, ice that has never faced the sun up close. It's a time capsule, igniting as it enters the inner system, trailing a glowing tail. By studying it, we decode the original recipe that baked the planets. It's cosmic forensics, built from crumbs of ice and sunlight. And with every visit comes the question, how many more stories still sleep in this attic? I remember the first time I opened my grandmother's trunk and found letters tucked in the corners. The letters didn't change the present, but they reshaped how I understood my family. The Oort cloud is the same, unseen, yet it changes how we understand our origins. And it's not just emotional dust, it's raw material, measurable and testable in the lab. If you want to bring this back to life, think about revisiting your own cold archives. Old notes, photos, and drafts may reveal patterns you never noticed. Projects that once seemed abandoned might just be waiting for the right context. And when that moment comes, they flare into orbit and shine like comets. That's why we hold respect for this silent envelope surrounding us. Because between us and the Oort lies another frontier, alive and driven by the sun. It's the heliosphere, our protective bubble, shaping the solar wind and redrawing our boundaries. The heliosphere is like a giant bubble blown by the sun itself, wrapping around the entire solar system. It's born from the solar wind, a continuous flow of charged particles streaming out in every direction. This wind creates an invisible boundary, separating the inside of our cosmic backyard from the vast outside. But don't picture this bubble as perfectly round, like a soap bubble. In reality, it's distorted by the sun's motion through the galaxy, much like a boat cutting through waves. At the front, a compressed region forms, a kind of bow pushing against interstellar space. Behind it, elongated trails appear, like the wake of a speeding boat. This protective shield is vital because it acts as a barrier against much of the cosmic radiation. Without it, Earth would be hit by far more dangerous doses of high-energy particles. It's as if we lived inside a house with invisible walls, filtering out the worst of the cosmic wind. And the most curious part, only recently have we been able to capture indirect images of this structure. To picture it, imagine sticking your hand out of a moving car. The air presses hard, shaping your fingers and pushing them back with resistance. That's exactly what happens when the solar wind collides with interstellar space. It bends, it stirs up turbulence, and it creates boundaries that look like rivers meeting and mixing their waters. It's in this friction zone that the edge of the heliosphere is defined, a warning sign that says, from here on, it's a different environment. The most fascinating part, Probes like Voyager 1 and 2 have already crossed this frontier. They detected changes in density and particle flow, confirming what scientists had long predicted. It's like moving to a new neighborhood and noticing that the air, the sounds, even the smell of the street are already different. Suddenly, our space ends and interstellar territory begins. This transition isn't abrupt, but gradual, like fog that grows thicker step by step. And it's right there that the stage is set for the next scenario we'll explore. If we stop to reflect, the heliosphere is also a powerful metaphor for human life. We all build protective bubbles, unseen but real, that shield us from overload. They might be the boundaries we learn to set, the information filters we choose, or the people we keep close. Just as the heliosphere doesn't block everything, our personal shields also let some things through. And that's okay, because balance is what keeps us adaptable and alive. If it were a total barrier, there would be no exchange, no learning, no growth. But if it were too fragile, we'd be swallowed by the chaos outside. This way of thinking helps us see the sun not only as a star, but as a teacher of resilience. It doesn't build walls, it builds flexible membranes that breathe with the universe. And it's this membrane that prepares the solar system to travel through different environments in space. The next one is the local interstellar cloud, a reminder that even the sun's own neighborhood changes. The sun doesn't sail through an empty void. It passes through regions with different densities of gas and dust. Right now, we're inside one of these regions, the so-called local interstellar cloud. Think of it as a cosmic neighborhood, not too crowded, not completely empty. It's like living on a street where there's constant movement, but it never turns into chaos. This environment directly shapes the heliosphere, squeezing it tighter or letting it expand. If the sun were in a denser region, our shield would be pressed more strongly. If it were in thinner space, the bubble would stretch outward like an inflated balloon. These changes may seem subtle, but they determine how much radiation actually reaches us. It's like the difference between living next to a busy avenue or on a quiet side street. The noise, the air, even the mood of the place shifts depending on the neighborhood. And the solar system, like a traveler, feels these changes as it moves from one area to another. The analogy becomes even clearer when we think back to moving houses as children. Switching neighborhoods meant everything felt different. The sounds, the people, even the way the wind blew. The local interstellar cloud is that kind of change, only on an astronomical scale. When the sun entered this region, the shape of the heliosphere was redrawn. That means even the cosmic weather in our backyard was altered. There are no signs saying, "You're entering a new neighborhood," but physics doesn't lie. Measurements of density and particles reveal that the interstellar street really has changed. And we, hitchhiking on Earth, are passengers in this silent transition. It's like waking up one day and realizing the view from your window is no longer the same. That realization brings a sense of constant, inevitable, and profound motion, and it prepares us to understand even larger environments that shape our place in the cosmos. In practice, thinking about the local interstellar cloud is an exercise in perspective. Just as moving neighborhoods can change the way we live, the cosmos reshapes the game too. It reminds us that stability is always temporary, and adaptation is the key to survival. With each transition, we learn to strengthen our filters without losing our openness to exchange. It's like a traveler adapting to new climates, foods, and cultures without losing their essence. The sun does the same. It moves through different environments without ceasing to be itself. And we, as part of its system, take part in this cosmic ballet without even noticing. When we think about it, we realize how much of our own lives are shaped by invisible changes. At every stage, a new cloud presents itself, shaping our journey. And when we look further out, we discover we're inside an even larger cosmic hall. That hall is the local bubble, sculpted by ancient explosions that carved the void we now inhabit. The local bubble is like a gigantic cosmic hall with invisible walls shaped by ancient explosions. It stretches for about 300 light-years, surrounding the solar system in a relative void. This structure was born from supernovae, massive stars that died in spectacular fashion. Each explosion swept the space clean, pushing gas far away from the region. Over time, those shockwaves carved out an immense room in the fabric of the galaxy. Imagine walking into a completely empty stadium and feeling the silence echo all around you. It's an invisible presence, both grand and intimidating at the same time. That's what the local bubble is, an open space, born of violent events, yet silent today. And here we are, living right in the middle of this cosmic hall without even realizing it. The most incredible part is that only recently have scientists confirmed the shape of this bubble, and they discovered that it connects with others, forming a network of interstellar corridors. To picture it more clearly, imagine a room with tall walls that echo distant sounds. When you speak, the echo takes a long time to return, creating a sense of vastness. In the local bubble, the echo is made of particles and energy waves traveling for centuries. Each wall is formed by denser gas, compressed by the explosions that created this void. It's as if we were living inside a glass room, unseen, but clearly defined. And this space offers us a rare perspective to live inside a stellar scar. It's a reminder that the universe carries its marks, just as we carry our own. Every loss, every rupture can open room for something new, even when it feels like emptiness. The bubble that now shelters us was once the stage for unimaginable stellar deaths. And in a way, we are heirs of that explosive past, living in its present calm. But this calm isn't static. It still interacts with what lies beyond its walls. Thinking about the local bubble is like reflecting on life in moments of silence. How many times have we gone through personal explosions that left us with apparent emptiness? Losses, sudden changes, upheavals that seem to hollow out a part of who we were. Yet these voids can also be fertile, making space for rebirth. The local bubble proves that even destruction can create habitable environments. It's a powerful metaphor. Past chaos can become present shelter. Just as supernovae built the room we now live in, our pains can open new paths. It's at this point that astronomy meets philosophy, revealing the unexpected. The universe doesn't just destroy, it recycles, reshapes, and transforms. And when we understand that, we're ready to look toward even greater structures, like the galactic stellar halo, which expands our vision beyond this cosmic room. When we think of the Milky Way, we usually picture it as a flat, elegant, uniform disk. But the truth is, the Milky Way is far more complex, warped, rippled, and surrounded by an invisible halo. This halo is an immense sphere that envelops the galaxy like a luminous aura. It contains ancient stars, globular clusters, and even dark matter. It's like looking at a bowl of soup that spills slightly over the edges. From afar, it seems simple and stable, but up close, it reveals subtle curves and motions. The very edge of the galaxy behaves like a flag fluttering in the wind. It's never still, always swaying in response to cosmic interactions, and we, living inside it, hardly notice the ripples, though we're carried along by them. It's like being on a ship in calm seas, unaware that the deck is shifting beneath our feet. That small detail changes the way we understand the dance of our cosmic home. The stellar halo is even more intriguing because it works as a living archive of the galaxy. The stars within it are relics, far older than the galactic disk itself. They tell the stories of ancient mergers when the Milky Way devoured smaller galaxies. It's like walking through a modern city and finding Roman ruins tucked into its corners. These relics remain, reminding us that the present structure is the result of past encounters. For astronomers, studying the halo is like digging into the galaxy's family tree. Each ancient star is a document preserved in an invisible cosmic archive, and this archive is vast, extending far beyond what our eyes can see. If the Milky Way were a lit stage, the halo would be the audience sitting silently in the dark. It watches in silence, but it holds the memory of the entire play that has unfolded. And unlocking that memory is key to understanding our own stellar origins. In practical terms, the galactic halo can be seen as the invisible influences that shape us. Just as it doesn't appear clearly, our own old stories shape who we are. There are childhood memories, marks from encounters, even emotional scars we don't see. They don't show up in daily life, but they sustain and explain much of our path. In the same way, the halo gives depth and substance to the Milky Way. Without it, the galaxy would be only a thin disk, without history, without support. That's why looking at the halo is like looking deeper into ourselves. We can't see it directly, but we feel its presence in every detail of life. This awareness leads us to the final realization. Everything is motion and journey, because the solar system, inside this rippling galaxy, is not standing still. It dances in a constant cosmic ballet, sailing across seas with no end. The solar system is not a still island, but a traveler on the open cosmic ocean. As we orbit the sun itself orbits the center of the Milky Way every 225 million years. That means Earth has completed only a handful of laps since the time of the dinosaurs. It's like being on a night bus. We can't see the road, but we feel the constant motion. And this motion isn't as smooth as we imagine. Sometimes we cross turbulent regions. Gravitational waves, clouds of dust, and magnetic fields all interact with our path. Each crossing can alter the flow of comets, radiation, or even the cosmic climate. It's the universe reminding us that the journey is never straight, always full of curves. And the most astonishing thing is that we're part of this dance without even realizing it. We live our routines, forgetting that Earth is a speeding passenger inside a living galaxy. It's a dance so grand that the entire stage is space-time itself. To picture it better, think of a ship sailing across uncharted seas. Sometimes the ocean is calm, reflecting the stars like a perfect mirror. Other times, rough waves rock the deck, reminding us of the vessel's fragility. The solar system is that ship, sailing through an invisible ocean of cosmic forces, and we, its passengers, barely notice the sway because our compass is daily life. But the voyage goes on, and each mile is marked by signals in the skies. Comets, meteor showers, and subtle changes in space are like distant lighthouses. They remind us that we're not anchored, but always on the move. It's like crossing borders without a passport, without realizing the territory has changed. The journey continues, even when we insist on believing we're standing still. And the destination is not a fixed point. It's the very path that never ends. This idea of a cosmic ballet invites us to reflect on life in motion. Just like Earth, none of us stays in the same place forever. We may believe in stability, but it's only a temporary illusion. Every phase of life is like an orbit, with a beginning, a middle, and a new transition. Some crossings are calm, others shake us, forcing us to readjust our sails. But all of them are part of a greater dance, where we are not spectators but participants. When we understand this, we accept that change is the essence of existence. And we begin to value the present as a unique step in an endless journey. Earth's ballet is humanity's ballet, all of us sailing without seeing the helm. And this constant movement prepares us to search for even deeper answers. Answers that only appear when we dare to look beyond the known universe. After crossing all these cosmic layers, the lesson is clear. Nothing around us is as simple as it seems. What we call Empty space is, in fact, a stage full of invisible structures shaping our existence. The heliosphere protects us, the local bubble shelters us, and the galaxy itself drags us into its endless dance. And the inevitable question is this: if the universe never stops reinventing itself, why should you stand still? How many more times will you accept living within limits that exist only in your mind? If even up and down are relative, maybe your certainties need to be revisited too. That's the universe's message. Movement is the rule, and adaptation is survival. The question is, will you resist this dance, or will you choose to join it consciously? Space doesn't wait. It moves on. And you? Will you move with it or stay in the same place? The answer depends on how willing you are to look beyond the obvious. And it's at that point that true personal transformation begins. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these discoveries changed the way you see the universe? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might inspire others to reflect as well. And if you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of the new deep dives into the cosmos we're preparing. Each video is an invitation to question, to expand, and to be amazed by the unknown. This isn't just about astronomy, it's about learning to live with more curiosity and purpose. The next episode is already on the horizon, ready to take your mind even further. You won't want to miss the next stop on this stellar journey. The universe is infinite, and our questions need to be infinite too. So come along, because this voyage is only just beginning, and the more people we bring aboard, the farther we'll be able to go.